thanks for being a patron and for checking out our spoiler talk for Christopher Moore's Noir. Rob, let's get right down to it. Explain to me how the Bohemians were all rich gay men.
Well, there's a couple of things. So we know that there was the no women allowed thing, which then became it's actually not, no women are allowed, not even if they're just like hookers, as entertainment or whatever. There's not supposed to be any women there at all. And then there's like there was the ritual with the big owl statue where they're dressed like women and stuff like that, which is like a minor hint. But then this is where I feel like there was a little bit of a gay club thing involved in the second to last chapter, The Knob, when they go to the law firm to confront Alton Stoddard III.
Mm-hmm.
There's one point where he is kind of sizing up the cheese, but it's specifically noted that it's not for her body, but for the dress that she's wearing.
Oh, that slipped past me.
Yeah,
Maybe
dude.
You're right. Maybe that is what it was.
And that was straight up like, she's supposed to be a knockout. And if he has no interest in her body, but he's interested in or excited about the dress that she's wearing, mm-hmm. I'm thinking that was the narrative way of saying, like, this guy is not into women.
That could be. And I guess Sammy does threaten him, or the cheese threatens him or whatever with pictures of them fucking I don't remember what he said, basically
right.
butt fucking one another is what they were implying. So I guess he could have been like, yeah, that didn't happen, so I don't care about that. But yeah, that's interesting. I guess maybe you're right.
All right.
Can I just say that his description of her, though, in the beginning where he said she's like a size 8 gal squeezed into a size 6 dress was fucking awesome.
Yeah, there's the whole line, too. I have it bookmarked, so I'm just going to go for it. A size 8 dame in a size 6 dress, and every mug in the joint was rooting for the two sizes to make a break for it as they watched her wiggle in the door and shimmy onto a bar stool with her back to the door.
Yeah, I got to tell you, he did some really like even maybe PG rated, like sexy descriptions where I could feel what he was talking about, which was great. The word mug, and I don't know, I guess we could have done this on the regular one. I worked with a guy who referred to people as mugs, and I was doing it myself for a long time, and I still will occasionally. Yeah. And it was really nice to see in this book, he refers to everybody. Any dude in this book is a mug.
Yeah, mug. Yeah, mug regularly used. Mug never really became something in my life. So maybe you can bring it back.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was, like I said, it was at the time, the guy was older than me, but I was probably in my early 20s, and he would say it a lot, and I just found myself adopting that for the same kind of term, where it was like a guy I didn't like.
Yeah.
Or describing just a couple of just a couple of fellas at a place. I walked in, there was just these two mugs sitting over on the one side, whatever. And I still, once in a while, but people always kind of looked at me weird. I also say cat. I also refer to people as cats, like guys as cats, like this one cat or whatever. And that always gets me a little bit of a weird look too. So not as weird as if I said fellas a lot though. Those fellas.
I think that's something that I do.
Yeah,
I think I use fellas.
You do use fellas.
Use fellas. All right. So we got the gay club conspiracy out of the way. What do you think about the omniscient narrator?
I was like, this was going so well till the fucking, because the talking snake is the first, like, not talking, but whatever, the narrative snake, Petey.
Yeah.
He's the first he's the first thing that goes full on Christopher Moore. Even though the story's kind of headed that way a little bit, like there's the talk about, crash landing, the kid immediately knows it's an alien.
Yep.
There's this weird snake situation. And then we find out that and we didn't talk about it in the regular review, but we see most of this third narrator, but I'm sorry, we see most of the third narrator through Sammy's eyes, right? And then anything else we don't get, we get a first person account of what's happening whenever Sammy's not around. Am I getting that right? Did I put that together well enough?
Yeah, ish. Yes,
And then
yeah.
that's Petey, the goddamn snake,
Goddamn
who
snake.
acknowledges that his people just know things, because really he has no way of knowing most of these. There are some scenes he's actually involved in, like the first one we're introduced in. He's in an alley and he's about to chow down on some rats and gets into it with a Chinese lady who owns a restaurant or whatever. But yeah, it was kind of. But yeah, that's your first clue where you've gone full on Christopher Moore. It's like he held out for so long and just couldn't fucking help himself.
Suddenly, a snake is narrating.
Yep.
I liked it because if the entire book was from Sammy's perspective, it probably wouldn't have been as good as if it were, kind of broken up with some, more omniscient kind of perspective. Even if it's from a freaking snake. But that snake, man, which makes me wonder, like, in Christopher Moore's mind, do all Black Mamba snakes like have this kind of knowledge? Could they all narrate books, or is it just this one special snake?
His people know things. I mean, Petey told us that himself.
Yeah,
so
did. You're right.
I don't know how many of them are contributing to like Simon and Schuster books, but
so both of us. I'm sorry, I should say neither of us read the synopsis before going into this. I feel like for some reason I knew that there was a Roswell angle, but I didn't know where it was coming from or going, I guess. And I didn't expect a freaking alien to show up in the book, so that was a little bit of a surprise for me. What about you?
Yeah, it was for me too. And again, the alien's just fucking adorable, just like everybody else in this book.
Yeah.
The Moon Man, which I like better than even the when the cheese names him. I just thought Moon Man was great. But yeah, he just like fucking does a lot of clicking and makes weird noises, but then is able to build a fucking ray gun out of like some old radio parts and a tuba or whatever the hell it was.
Yeah. When he goes to build the thing, like first of all, he's eating cheeseburgers like crazy and stuff like that. Like he adapts to the Earth life real quick. And the low key disguising they're trying to do him was really funny. But like the moment he's running around the junkyard grabbing parts, I'm like, he's making a fucking weapon. I knew it like immediately.
Yeah, which comes in obviously very conveniently in the story. But that's what's funny, and it's the part I couldn't get into in the regular review, is that he starts out with this really regular book where it's going to be about, I'm assuming that his thing was a regular guy. He's going to get involved with this hot woman, and it's going to be a gangster thing and some kind of mix up, and, and the gangster's going to get killed. And how do you get rid of the body? Like I see all that. Yeah. But then, like I said, he Googles the year and is like, fuck, I got to throw some Roswell shit in here. And then you wind up with an alien kind of saving the day at the end of this book. And that's the journey that a story can take, I guess, is where I'm trying to go with that, is that you start out with something that's going to be fairly normal and just funny. And next thing you know, there's an alien running around an antique shop or junkyard or whatever, building a ray gun that he's going to use to like kill like Men in Black.
And then motorboating the cheese.
Yeah. Jesus, man.
Because you knew that was going to happen. There was going to be some weird like sexual element that was more of like a cultural misunderstanding than, or maybe it was like maybe aliens like to motorboat boobs too. So.
Listen, I don't know. It's like everybody thought they could also bang the cheese. Like even the cabbie was like just like talking shit to her and like coming on to her. Like it seems like nobody in 1947 had any respect for anybody else's lady.
Yeah, no kidding. Even aliens. Yeah. I liked how the alien didn't care what it killed. Like it didn't seem like there was any remorse or like, and even at one point it was kind of, Sammy was reflecting on it and thinking like, well, maybe that's just what they do. They walk around and they vaporize things. That was pretty funny.
Yeah, no, I mean, again, a character we really couldn't mention, but again, you just couldn't get away from how damn cute.
Super cute.
Yeah, I'm a little sad that they were separated at the end. I saw the kid becoming Sammy and the Cheese's like little, almost adopted kind of kid. I saw that happening.
Right.
But then the alien came along and I was like, oh, they're going to be a happy little family, like all four of them. We're going to see the final scene is going to be them on a beach somewhere, hanging out and with the Stoddard's money. They went to Stoddard's office and I was like, oh, this is their payday.
Right.
But then they didn't get a payday.
That's okay. They he opened up future books having this random alien driving around in a car shooting things.
That's true.
Which is kind of nice. I like that. Yeah. I could see Scooter, the Moon Man, having his own book or being prominent in another book. Maybe not as the protagonist, unless Scooter learns to talk English.
Yeah, that's probably a little bit of a stretch to give him his own. But yeah, I could definitely see him because he could cross over into any other Christopher Moore book, another Bloodsucking Fiends, or another Odd Job, or any of those.
Yep. Yeah.
Which I wonder now. Christopher Moore had said, and we've talked about this on the podcast, that he does some of the books he does just to fund his way to doing, the bigger, like more important books like Sacre Blue, I think is when we were talking about that. Yeah. I wonder which one this falls into.
Yeah, I was thinking that too. It seems like it's more serious, and it's not just the jokey, like outrageous ones. I feel like this is one of the serious ones.
Yeah, a lot more research, right? Because the rest of them require no research. You have a vampire and you have, it's all just goofy shit. Maybe you research a location or a thought that you had on some type of cultural thing. But this one flat out learned about the Chinese people, looked into the Bohemians, and you know what I mean, and the whole World War II and how people worked and what happened to them after the war and stuff. So it seems like he put more effort into this than he would have to into the Stupidest Angel or whatever. So
yeah, I think this is one of his serious ones.
Yeah.
Then I guess the other thing when we're talking about all his books is I was unable to identify any crossovers from other books.
Yeah, I don't know that there were any.
The closest thing I got, and just time-wise, I don't think it would line up, is when they went to Myrtle's house to try and find the cheese, there was that, old Russian woman.
Yep, the neighbor, nosy neighbor lady.
And I'm thinking, if she says, like bear at any point, I would know this is a crossover. Right. But I think that she would have to be like a little girl or something for the timeline to match up with A Dirty Job and Secondhand Souls and stuff like that.
Well, all of those are contemporary. So all of those, took place in the current time in which they were written. So, post 2000, with the exception of Sacre Blue, which again, was, took place hundreds of years ago. So time wise, I don't think so. And you know what? That's okay.
That's okay.
Yeah.
So, because the crossovers are great, but they're not what makes the book.
No, they're fun little snippets. I don't think this book needed any more or any less than it had.
Yeah. So. I don't think we have anything else to spoil. I just wanted to talk a little bit about aliens and gay people, apparently.
Yeah, I don't think we'll be seeing Sammy and the Cheese again, though, which makes me a little sad because I honestly they've been my favorite pair from all of his books.
Yeah. Maybe they got there a little happily ever after.
Yeah, which is cool too. That's cool. I mean, I'll be over it tomorrow, right? When I have a little distance from the book, I'll be sad about it tonight. But tomorrow I'll have moved on and forgotten all about him. Maybe we'll see.
Yeah. All right, that's going to wrap it up for our spoiler talk. Thanks for being such loyal patrons and helping us keep the lights on. And hopefully we'll be giving you in 2018 a whole bunch more of this. We're going to go back to the episode now.